Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Hannah. Welcome to GhostWritten.
Straight face.
This is a
Welcome to
podcast.
GhostWritten about ghosts and writing and cats and dogs. And that dog butt behind you.
Dog butt. Shit down.
He's like, what? So here's a good time to tell you, if you're not part of our Patreon, you're missing out. Brandon's dog is behind him. Well, what's behind him?
You know the
he
drill.
Got pissed because Brandon's being a dick. It's fine.
You know the drill by now.
Unless you're new, and if you're new, hi.
Hey, y'all.
Please don't turn it off yet.
Yeah, just stick around for a little while. You'll get a little more infuriated and turn it off. What's up, guys? It is no longer October, which is really sad.
Holy shit, has it been cold in Kentucky?
Yeah, except for today, it's like weirdly warm.
Yeah, but it's gonna be cold as shit this weekend. So,
oh,
like we went straight from summer to winter.
The saddest thing happened today.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know. I think I told you before. I'm on a quest to become a plant gay. I have one big snake plant that
we love those.
Is awesome, and I really like it because it's low maintenance and it looks really cool. So I was a little bit emboldened a month or two ago to buy a new plant that's a little more needy. It is a purple heart spiderwort, I think is what it's called.
That sounds goth as fuck.
I know, right? And it's beautiful. It's purple, which is my favorite color. And like it's this big, it was really tall.
Oh no.
And had these cute little blossoms. When you set it out in the sun, these little purple blossoms opened up. Okay, so the first thing that happened was last week. It like the highest stalk was so high that it was like drooping. So I would periodically go and like move it so that it kind of stood up more straight. And I was doing that and it snapped. It just snapped completely. And I don't know anything about plants. I'm learning as I go. So I tried to just like take the broken part and stick it down in the soil and like see if it would.
Some of them will sprout in water.
Right. And I should have tried to do that first and then put it in there, but I wasn't thinking. So anyway, today I finally was like, you know what? I've got some new little sprouts from that plant coming up. Why don't I try to just throw away the part that fell? I'll try to just take care of the rest of it. It's still cute. It's just not as tall. And, you know, I'll be like more proud of it because I like grew
Those are your babies. Yeah.
So
you're a mommy now.
I usually just keep it sitting on like the little counter thing that we have in the kitchen, and it doesn't get a ton of light, but it's a succulent, so it says that they're light loving plants, but they don't have to have it to grow.
They'll grow faster if they are.
Right. So I just watered it. So I was like, I can put it outside as long as it doesn't drop below 50 degrees. It'll be fine, blah, 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 blah. So I put it out there. And earlier, I was in the bedroom and Bradley comes in there and he goes, "Hey, your plant just broke." And I was like, "What?"
Did it commit suicide?
Apparently, a strong gust of wind came through and knocked over.
Death by husband.
I mean, I don't see why he would have. Technically, that's possible, but generally, he doesn't do things just to be mean.
Was it the fall storm Bradley that
Exactly. But
he's gonna listen to this and call me and be like, "What is your fucking I've already made him mad today. It's fine.
I'm gonna try to repot it, but we'll see.
I'm gonna try. I got a new plant baby for work.
Ooh.
I was at Meijer yesterday and a bunch of their plants were on sale, and I found a fern, and the fern needed love.
Oh, I love a fern.
So I took it home. It is a tuber ladder fern. They are native to Asia and Australia. I named her Pomona, and she is living on my desk at work.
That's so cute.
I misted her today.
That's where I got my snake plant, was at Meijer.
Yeah, because they're cheap as shit right now.
It was $15 and this thing is like 4 feet tall.
I might go back and get more. Mhm.
It's great,
And one of the
guys.
lovely research pathologists was like, "Oh, do you want more low light babies?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yes, always.
I have like a stupid receptionist desk. I'm not a receptionist, but I have a stupid receptionist desk. So there's like a higher part. I'm just
Mhm.
going to cover it in plants so people can't talk to me.
Oh my God, yes. I we were walking through Kroger the other day, Bradley and I, and we went through the section with all the plants. I was like, this is going to be our living room.
Yeah.
One day.
I don't.
One day.
Yeah. I don't have enough sunlight at home, so they live at work right now. I have a plant. I have 2 plants living in an office that I no longer work in that I go in to take care of because they have more sunlight.
I mean, the air quality there's got to be great.
Welcome to GhostWritten. We're a plant podcast.
Welcome to Ghost Plants.
Listen, we should make another podcast. This is just us trying to figure out taking care of plants.
Coming 2022. 2 idiots try to grow plants.
Yeah.
What if we
Ghost
call
gardening?
Yeah, what if we called it
Ghost
like
garden.
what if instead of green thumb? Oh no. You know how when you're new to something or you don't know something, they call you being green?
Mhm.
What if we called it like green thumb? But like it's a double entendre.
Because we suck.
Yeah, and then people would be like, I started listening to this podcast called Green Thumb, but these people are terrible.
I have no clue what they're talking about. Listen, though, Jason Thunderburker has done really well at work, so you can kiss it. He's a jade plant.
Oh, is that the name of your plant? Jason
Yeah.
Thunderburger?
Thunderburker.
Thunderburger.
Over the garden wall.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
Don't get my references, Brendan.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. He's a jade plant and he's doing very nicely in my old office.
Have you watched anything, read anything creepy lately? Spooky?
We watched Sugar Jeep because Halloween.
It's the best Halloween movie.
Course.
So yes, correct.
What else? We watched something else. I'm trying to remember what it was. We watched something else spooky. Oh, we watched The Mist or The Fog? The Fog. I don't remember
Which one was it?
is.
What happens in it?
It's the Ghost Pirates.
That's The Fog.
Okay.
Yeah.
The older one, not the new one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We watched that one.
Yeah, The Mist is the Stephen King novella where they get stuck in the grocery store. That's such a good movie.
Listen, though, it's too similar. It fucking kills me. But it was really good. We watched that. I'd seen the newer one, but I hadn't seen the older one. So we watched the older one. 10 out of 10. Super campy and ridiculous.
It's been so long since I saw
also
it.
John Carpenter, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
John Carpenter could slap his name on anything. I'd be like, yeah, I'll watch it.
There's this hilarious TikTok where this guy is showing his massive collection of Blu-rays. He's got a bunch of like 4K Blu-rays and all this stuff, and he's like, a lot of times people ask me, why bother collecting physical media when it's a dying industry, when everything is digital and streaming? And he goes, here's the thing, and he pulls out a DVD of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Nice. I was supposed to be like, what the heck's this dude doing? And then no, that was perfect.
Here's the thing.
Perfect.
And it's literally The Thing.
Fantastic. That's one of the things that I super impressed the people that we went to play trivia with at work, at a brewery, because we went for Halloween with some research people from work, and it was all about horror movies, and so I just kind of like stole the paper.
Oh girl, I would have destroyed.
We totally would have won, but she gave everybody points for like costumes and stuff, and I had no clue, or I would have been fully decked out.
That's not fair.
Yeah. It's fine. But that was the question about the thing, and they got 2 words in, and I just grabbed the paper and wrote it. Everybody's like, it's like it's his favorite movie. It's fine. I know it is.
I watched I think I can't remember if I told you I was watching um an Icelandic cop procedural show.
You did. How's that
It was good. I finished it. It was pretty short. It was called The Valhalla Murders.
going?
Um and I enjoyed it. It was pretty like dark and broody and kind of shit that I like to binge.
Should be.
Yeah. And did I watch it? I think I recently watched a horror movie, but I can't I'm gonna try to think of what it was. But then so right after that, Netflix, of course, is like, here's some other stuff you might want to watch.
Damn
And
it, Netflix.
yeah, and it suggested this show called The Chestnut Man, which is a Danish like cop detective murder investigation show. And it was really good. There were parts of it that were a little predictable, but at the same time,
procedurals are.
Yeah, true. And there's a lot of like common character tropes, right? Like the detective who doesn't spend time with their family because they have to give it all to the job, so they don't have a good relationship. They don't have a good relationship with their kid, and they're divorced. It's like, okay.
Guillermo del Toro is currently making a Netflix show called Cabinet of Curiosity, and Rupert Grint is in it, and I'm stoked.
I know you are not a big Apple fan, but they have their own original shows on Apple TV Plus. One of them is this M. Night Shyamalan show called Servant, and Rupert Grint's in that, and he's actually pretty good.
Listen, Apple stole Charlie Brown last year, so nobody cares about Apple, Brandon.
Rupert Grint, I have
They
to
stole that from us.
I'm gonna have to show you a clip from that show sometime though, because he is trying so hard to do an American accent, and like 90% of the time it sounds fine, but there's like little parts of it where it's just like, oh God, he's struggling.
I just love him. Just love that giant ginger.
All I can hear now is they started using that there's a Harry Potter clip that they've been using as a TikTok sound for months now, where they're playing chess and it's like, once I make my move, you're free to check the king. You know what part I'm talking about?
Yes. When he's like 12 years old.
Yeah, and Hermione's like, no, Ron, no, you can't. There must be some other way. And then Harry's like, what is that? And she goes, he's gonna sacrifice himself.
I suddenly don't remember how to play chess, even though I was playing it earlier in the movie.
Anyway,
Lord.
before we get on too much of a tangent, I have something pretty cool today. I'm going to be mostly reading from, oh God, I can't do that. A book called Mysterious Georgia. And it is about.
And Jeffrey?
No. Wait, what is that one called? It's something like that. It's like something
like Mississippi Ghosts and Jeffrey.
And Jeffrey.
I've got it on my Amazon wish
God,
list
it's
because
so strange.
I need this book so bad. It comes up all the time in research.
Yeah, and I'm always like, the name is so weird. Like, and Jeffrey.
I want it. I want it so much.
So today I'm going to be talking about a couple of events in this town called Surrency, Georgia.
Alabama Ghosts, 13 Alabama Ghosts and Jeffrey.
Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about Surrency. That's Surrency. And the first thing I'm going to talk about here is a haunting, pretty well known if you do a little bit of research on this. I hadn't heard of it beforehand, But once you like start looking into it, you'll see that like a million different people have covered this before, which I find weird that I've never heard of it. But um, here it is. I'll read you a little bit about it. The story comes out of Surrency in Appling County, and was witnessed by hundreds. Dating back to the 1800s, long before Surrency was a town, it was a farming community on the edge of the Altamaha River swamp was a farming family named Surrency. They owned and lived in a large two-story house near the railroad tracks on the outskirts of the community. The Surrency family had 8 children, ranging in age from 3 to 21. Although they had a little more wealth than the others in the area, the Surrencys were just your garden variety normal family. They also owned another farm in another town. Alan Powell Surrency was a sawmill operator and was the founder of the
Powell. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's really hard to say.
was and was the founder of a small town of Surrency in southeastern Georgia. When Surrency returned home, this is the confusing part, is because it's the name of the town and the name of the
town and
family.
the people. That's a little
Yeah.
conceited of him to name his town after himself. Let's be
And
a
then
little
live
more
there.
Obvious about it. Yeah.
Yeah. When Surrency returned home from a trip to Hazelhurst in October 1872, he was in for a surprise.
Talk about
A short
fuck Hazelhurst.
You're just asking for it that way.
Yeah.
A short time after his arrival back home, strange things started happening. The Surrency saw things that would change their lives forever. Glass tumblers slid off the slab, and the crockery fell to the floor and broke. Books started to fall off their shelves. Windows started slamming shut and then flying open. Doors were violently slamming shut without any help. These ghostly happenings were mild compared to what was to come. Tables began flying through the air. Mirrors were shattering in the hallways. The clock began to strike 13.
What?
I guess that means it would.
That's some alliteration.
I guess it means that the
13 like bells, chimes.
Right.
Okay.
And the hands would spin wildly back and forth. Bricks.
Like you got a fucked up clock.
Bricks, smoothing irons, tin pans, water buckets, and pitchers began to fall in all parts of the house. Every time the Surrencys ate at the table, the food would end up being thrown in their laps or across the room on the floor. Eating utensils were bending or twisting while in their hands. The family began losing sleep and was not getting enough to eat. As time went on,
by any chance birth a mutant?
Oh, do you mean
the beginning of X-Men?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Jersey Devil.
No. No, I'm going full nerd with this one, buddy.
Yeah, is that Jean Grey? As time went on, the incidents increased while the wait, what? Okay. It's just a really weird way to structure this sentence because they've not referenced the children other than saying how many there were. And now it says, what's my dog doing? Are you back already? Bradley just walked in. I was like, am I being like
Brandon's being robbed.
broken in on?
It's a ghost.
Yeah, as time went on, the incidents increased while the two boys were talking to a visitor minister in the parlor. See what I'm saying? A blazing log flew out of the fireplace and across the room. The minister cut his visit short.
The minister noped out of there.
Yeah, he's like, okay, so I actually have somewhere to be. Evil red eyes began to appear around the property and around the house at night. Bricks fell out of the sky, and disembodied voices were heard screaming, crying, or laughing around the property. Listen, I feel like any one of these things on their own would be like a really creepy aspect of a haunting, right? But like all of this shit happening at the same time, like
What?
you've got something serious going on. You got some
You've got
high
a
level.
serious Professor X problem.
You need to get Jean Grey inside of Cerebro now.
Jean Grey to take her meds.
Eventually, the ghost, or whatever it was, became more violent, targeting the youngest girl in the house. It would lift her out of bed at night, pull her hair at random times, and flip the bed over sideways, throwing her to the floor.
Jesus.
Hot bricks began falling from nowhere and landing on the roof of the house and in the yard. A pair of boots walked across the floor on their own. Tables would dance around the room. Several hogs and chickens appeared in the living room out of nowhere.
This just sounds like Disney Haunted Mansion.
It kind of
much.
It kind of sounds like Salem witch trial type stuff, like just the most batshit stuff you could
more
think of.
Extreme.
Yeah. The attacks on the daughter Clementine were the last straw for the Surrency family. They decided it was.
Oh, sorry.
That was the last straw, though. You know, not the.
Not little Miss Clementine.
They decided it was time for them to pack it up and move, but the ghosts were not going to let that happen without a fight. A fireplace poker lifted out of its resting place, floated down the hall, and hit one of the boys on the head several times while the younger boy helplessly watched. The boy was left bleeding on the floor as the poker floated back to its original place. What up, Babs?
Hey, Babs, don't step on my keyboard.
In an effort to get rid of the house and the family of the ghostly activity, Surrency sought the help of the clergy and scientists, as well as spirit mediums and psychics. He's like, hold on.
Somebody turn to science.
Yeah, he's like, let's turn to physics. You see, if we just
listen, it's getting a little more Professor X every single second. Okay.
None succeeded in ridding the home of what had taken up residence. Surrency wrote a letter to the Savannah Morning News describing the events that were happening. There were several theories from the locals. One theory was that Surrency was in league with the devil. Naturally, you know.
That sounds pretty legit.
That was my first thought.
Like, yeah. How else do you get hot breaks?
That's fair. You remember all the way back in episode 1, when we talked about Bobby Mackey's, and you know, we just talked about like the severity of the haunting that the hauntings that people experience at Bobby Mackey's. Babs, honey, please. And how, you know, they talk about like ritualistic stuff that was supposed to have happened there. I mean, there could be a connection, right? I mean,
yeah.
When you have something like that happening that's like way above. I'm sorry, I can't focus. Hannah's cat is
you can see her neck moving as she purrs too.
She's like very
so
much
happy.
trying to steal the spotlight right now.
Hey, bro.
She's also purring directly into the microphone.
Like this. Come on, buddy.
But yeah, there might be something to that, is what I was trying to say.
Man, into some shit. Like Babs. Babs into some shit, right?
Another theory was that the entire Surrency family were psychic, and that the reason why all this stuff was happening so vividly and so like extreme circumstances was that they were just all sensitive, you know, like spirits, sensitive to spirits. And so
can you imagine an entire family sensitive to spirits? That's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, think about like Murphy's Law, you know, anything that's
it's true.
Anything that can happen will happen. So maybe. These ghostly activities were witnessed by hundreds of people from around the world. The Surrency House had become a tourist attraction. The activities attracted scientists, researchers, spiritualists, mediums, and religious officials from all over. The Surrency family finally did move out and left the house abandoned for years. The house ended up burning down in 1925. Alan Surrency died in 1877. This case has all the hallmarks of poltergeist activity. It was one of the most famous hauntings in the history of the South. What made the Surrency haunting so unique is that it is one of the most verified hauntings in American history.
I would never heard of this one.
Exactly.
At first, I thought you were going to talk about the ones that, but I think we might have already talked about it, about the like clothes standing up random places. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
I come home and there's just like people's clothes sitting places where people would be sitting or standing there, which is pretty freaking weird. I would be very upset.
Just for a little added piece here, this is also in Mysterious Georgia. Since we like saying, I don't know, maybe it adds a little bit of credibility when there's multiple creepy things happening in one place, you know. There is a ghost light in Surrency.
Ghost lights, buddy.
The Surrency ghost light, called Spook Light by the locals, is located in the town of Surrency, Georgia. The light appears
Y'all seen that spook light?
Listen, I think that's a pretty cool name. That might be the name of my band, but I haven't decided yet. The light appears along the Macon Brunswick Railroad tracks, which is funny because if you remember, that's where the Surrencys lived, was near the railroad tracks. The Surrency ghost light is a classic example of the ghost light phenomena. Some of the more famous ghost lights are the Marfa Light in Texas, the Brown Mountain Lights in North Carolina, and the Bingham Light in South Carolina, just to name a few. Surrency was incorporated in 1911, a small town of about 300 people. The Surrency Spook Light has been reported since the early 1900s and is still going strong today. The site of the Surrency Spook Light is centralized along a stretch of the Macon Brunswick Railroad. The light itself is described as a bright golden yellow ball about the size of a grapefruit. That's really specific. It appears several hundred yards ahead of you on the railroad tracks and hovers slightly before starting to move closer. When it gets to a certain distance, it will disappear and then it will reappear behind you.
Want anything to do with here's what we're saying. It's like, can you move?
Right. And here's something that I actually think you mentioned when you talk about the Brown Mountain Lights. Some theories are ball lightning, which no, that's dumb. Car headlight reflections seen through the fog, seismic activity, mirages, and the ever popular swamp gas. Some believe that it's connected to the haunting of the Surrency home.
Definitely.
Some theorize that the light is caused by some geological anomaly deep under the town. Cornell University professor of geology Larry Brown was part of a scientific team that in 1985 discovered that, or what may be an ancient reservoir of water or some other fluid lying 9 miles beneath the forest in Surrency. Professor Brown described the reservoir as about 2 miles in diameter and shaped like a contact lens. He noted, "We really don't have a good idea of what the formation is composed of. If it is water, it would upset a lot of scientific theories, as it is theoretically impossible for water or other fluid to exist in such a great depth due to the intense heat and pressure." Girl, all I'm saying
more
is
specifics on this mysterious
exactly
fluid.
like, what is it? Like, blood. What if it's blood? What if it's blood? What if it's blood? Hannah, what if it's blood?
It's a boiling lake of blood underneath the
Hannah,
ground.
what if it's ectoplasm?
Yes. Oh. I'm gonna go ahead and guess blood. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that that family has a tunnel down to this
Oh,
contact lens of blood, and they've been sacrificing animals into it.
you just reminded me. I did watch a horror movie. I watched the new Paranormal Activity movie.
I have not watched a lot of those.
They're good. But yeah, so that's the Surrency haunting / poltergeist and the Surrency light. So
Sweet.
like I said, I was looking into this and I was like, how in the hell have I never heard of this? Like, I don't understand.
I've never heard of it either. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah, there's something going on there. And listen, why has nobody drilled down and found out what this fucking liquid is?
I don't, what kind of geologists are they? Like, mysterious liquid.
Like, yeah, it could be basically anything. But we just don't
figure it out.
We just haven't drilled down there yet. We'll get around to it. So
who are we to judge your science? But Jesus.
Having said that, today we are announcing another break. Yes, it is that time. And
this is our second break. We've been doing this long enough for 2 breaks. Brandon.
I agree with you. I just don't want to disappoint the people.
The people. You're the people.
For those of you that have been listening for a while, you know that we did take a break around this time last year for a month or 2. My reasoning, other than the fact that we do need a little bit of a break because, you know, we do this basically all year while we both work full time and have lives and stuff, is that after Halloween, it doesn't, you know, it's really the antithesis of spooky for like a whole month or 2.
It's a little morose. We need time to get used to the dark.
Yeah, well, and I just mean, you know, around
us.
Christmas, it's like the opposite of sad, right? It's like everyone's happy and gift giving and it's all about joy and, you know.
Krampus. Sorry.
Krampus. So I personally feel like it's a good time. Hannah agrees with me, obviously, or she wouldn't be going along with it. But we will be back. We are still going to continue to work on some things for Patreon, you know, same kind of content that we put on there now. We're not going to be doing full episodes or anything like that, but just like last year, you know, we will definitely take this time to work on things for the podcast. You know, I did a new intro for us last year around this time, and I ended up loving it so much. So
yeah, I love it.
I'm sure
we've got some ideas. Also, welcome to our new patron, my sister.
Yes, Megan. I was so excited.
All of our patrons are just my family.
Hey, that's fine. Thank you guys. We appreciate and love you all. Being Hannah's family. But yeah, so having said that, we will be back in January. And there are, at this point, God, what number are we on? There are so many episodes to go and listen to. If you're just
close to 70 or we're over 70, right?
Yeah. Like if you're,
there's a lot.
If you're just getting into the podcast, this will be episode 64. So yeah, go back and listen to some of our older stuff. It'll be a perfect time for if you have been wanting to send us your stories or anything like that. It's gonna be the perfect time for us to start building up stuff again for another listener stories episode. And I think you did it last time. So if you want to send those to us, you can reach us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at GhostWritten Pod, or you can email us directly, and that is ghostwrittenpodcast@gmail.com. And if you've been living under a rock for the entirety of this whole episode, we do have a Patreon as well, where you can support us monetarily if you're able to. Our tiers for our patrons are pretty cheap, and we put extra stuff on there as consistently as we can, working around our lives. You know what I realized the other day? I was listening to some kind of podcast, and this person was talking about how their Patreon is just for people to give the money, like they don't put anything on it. So I was like, you know what? I don't feel as bad now. Like,
Listen, I still feel bad.
no, I do too. I mean, we do have a lack of content on there sometimes, but you know, we do follow through eventually. I mean, so and you know, Patreon helps us get into the right frame of mind for eventually having like merch and things like that, and being able to support some of our more lofty goals of like taking the podcast on the road and like traveling to places and doing Wampus Cast. So yeah, we would appreciate any help that you guys can give us. If you like the podcast, you could also give us a review or a comment on whatever platform you listen to, and always feel free to check out the Facebook page and comment on there, and share things that other people might find interesting. And if you want to interact with us, that's the best place to do it. Yeah.
Because we're old and we really like Facebook.
Listen, we're already on there anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everyone does that. Everyone periodically through the day is like, oh, I have 15 seconds where I'm not doing anything. Let me just aimlessly scroll through Facebook, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we love you all.
We'll be back in January
With season 3.
Season 3. We're going hard.
Yeah, and for the last time in 2022. It's time.
Mm.